Now we are going to start with a topic that is heavy water from chapter hydrogen. So what is heavy water? First of thing you need to know that. If we talk about normal water, it is H2O, right? Where H is a protium, that is with one atomic mass and one mass number and one atomic number, right? But if we talk about heavy water, then what is the difference between heavy water and the normal water? Here the H, that is the isotope of H, another isotope of H is used, that is with mass number 2 and atomic number 1, which is particularly called as deuterium. And it is written as D. That is why instead of H2O it becomes D2O, because here we are making use of isotope deuterium, that is D, H, 2 is the mass number and 1 is the atomic number. Now how you get the heavy water? Right. So it is in a Urey experiment which led to the discovery of heavy water actually. See, if you will take a normal acidified water, normal water, because you know that normal water is a poor conductor of electricity. So there has to be certain impurity, a salt or something like that, that makes the distilled water as a good conductor. So this is what kind of water we have here. It is not a distilled water. Let's say it is a tap water, right? Then we have anode and cathode. You can see we have all the apparatus set for an electrolysis. Now, when we will start the electrolysis, we know that hydrogen gas is liberated at cathode and oxygen gas is liberated at anode, you know that. But if you will keep on this electrolysis for a prolonged time, that means if the electrolysis procedure keep on occurring for a much period of time, then what we will see that all the H2 and O2 present in this water will just get liberated at cathode and anode, and what we are left here in this water, this will be heavy water, that is the D2O. Now the question must be striking your mind that from where this D2O comes in this water. Actually all the water, if we talk about the normal water, whether it is a tap water, whether it is a fresh water, whether it is a rain water, any kind of water, right? So it always have some amount of heavy water in it. Always it has some amount of heavy water in it. But so what actually happened, that when you carry on the prolonged electrolysis, then what happened, that all the H2 and O2 get liberated at cathode and anode, leaving behind the D2O which do not get hydrolyzed. So that means this water now become enriched in D2O, therefore it is called as heavy water, that is D2O, right? So this is how we can get the heavy water. Now talking about their physical properties, what we see that heavy water is colorless, odorless and tasteless, same as we know that these properties are exhibited by the normal water also. So the same properties, colorless, odorless and tasteless, is exhibited by the D2O also. Molecular mass is more than H2O, obviously, because we have discussed its atomic mass is 2, and there where the protium is being used in normal water, their atomic mass is 1. So obviously the molecular mass is going to be more for the heavy water. Third, dielectric constant is comparatively low. What is dielectric constant, or what does this property means? It means the tendency, or you can say ability, of any substance to break the bonds of a compound or a substance which is added to it. We know that water is a universal solvent, normal water I am talking about. It is a universal solvent because its dielectric constant is quite high. That means it can break the bond of maximum of the substances. That is why it can dissolve maximum substances in it. But as compared to the normal water, D2O has less amount of dielectric constant, therefore it is not a universal solvent. But in comparison, H2O is having a dielectric constant value high, therefore it acts as a universal solvent. Next, reaction of D2O is comparatively slow. But that means they occur at a slow rate, but the reaction of normal water is quite high in rate as comparison to the D2O. Now starting with the chemical properties, see, it is going to show the same properties as the water do, right? So just here what will be difference, what will you get to see here? It will be just that instead of H you will have D now, right? So reaction with metal, let us take some metal, let's say I have taken sodium. I am going to add water, so that means heavy water, D2O. Right. So I'll write a reaction with water also along with it, because then you'll have an idea that this is just a simple chemical property which you are actually aware of. See, when I take sodium and I add normal water, what you get? You get hydroxide of formula NaOH plus H2. This is what you are going to get here, but instead of H, what you'll have D. So that means the reaction is going to be NaOD plus D2, right. Again, reaction with metal oxide. So let us take metal oxide, sodium oxide. Let us add water to it. I'll take heavy water first, right. So let us say this is D2O, and I have another reaction where I'm going to add normal water, because we are studying the reactions of both heavy water and normal water in comparison, just to make this thing more easy for you, as you are actually aware of it, right. So whenever you add any metal oxide to water, what you get? You get only hydroxide. So when you add Na2O to simple water, you will be getting NaOH, right. And when you will be adding Na2O to D2O, you will be getting NaOD, just a difference of H and D, right. Again, reaction with non-metal oxide. Let us take sulfur trioxide. Let us add to a heavy water, and again let us take sulfur trioxide and add it to a normal water. We know that when we add sulfur trioxide to water, it gets converted into sulfuric acid, because it is acidic in nature. So that means it will be H2SO4. This is the formula for sulfuric acid. Same thing is going to happen here also. It is going to form D2SO4. So that means the same thing, just the difference lies that here instead of isotope protium, here it is replaced by deuterium, right. So that is why you are getting D2SO4. Next, if you will carry on the electrolysis of D2O, if I say I have only D2O here and I am carrying on the electrolysis, so obviously we know that positive thing goes on cathode. So that means on cathode what we will get? We will get D2 and same oxygen at anode. So that means on electrolysis D2 will be liberated at cathode. Next, like as we know that water when combined with some salts, it forms hydrates. As you are aware of this common hydrated salt, copper sulfate pentahydrate crystal, blue in color. You know that, you are familiar with this. So if they combine with heavy water instead of normal water, they will form deuterates. Like in water we say hydrates, here it will be deuterates, and the formula will be CuSO4 5 D2O, just the difference of D and H, right. So it is the water molecules when linked to water, when it is heavy water it is called deuterates, when it is called normal water it is called hydrates. Next, exchange reactions. That what happen when you add you can say normal hydrogen compound with the heavy water. So what happened? NaOH plus D2O, so they will just exchange H with D. So what will get? NaOD plus HOD. One D has replaced this H and this H has combined with O and D, so it becomes HOD. Same thing is going to happen here. D will replace this H, it will become DCl plus HOD, right. So this kind of exchange reaction can also take place between a protium and a deuterium. And if we talk about that, can we use this water for drinking, or can we use this water to water plants? So you should be aware that we cannot use it. It is actually unfit for plants and animals, because it actually retards the rate of reactions which are happening in animals or as well as plants. So it is not fit for plants and animals. That is why we make use of H2O. We don't make use of D2O in normal routine. So where it is being used, what are its uses? It is used in a nuclear reactor as a moderator. We know that nuclear reactor is actually you can say a full setup where a nuclear fission reaction take place, releasing you can say a tremendous nuclear energy, which is being used in different parts of country for different purposes. So there in nuclear reactor it is being used as moderator, and moderator is a substance which is used to slow down the speed of neutrons in order to carry out an effective collision, effective fission. So this if you are familiar, well, it's well and it's well good, but if you are not familiar with moderators, so just learn it in this way, that it acts as a moderator, or maybe you will be doing in higher class about this nuclear reactor. Otherwise, I am just telling you in a short span that it is just, the moderator is a substance which slow down the neutrons in order to carry out the effective fission reaction, which is carrying out in a nuclear reactor. So there it acts as a moderator. It can act as a tracer compound also. That means wherever the detection techniques are used, there it can act as a tracer. And we know that if we will carry out electrolysis, it will separate D2 and O2. So that means we can have deuterium as a result of electrolysis of heavy water. And moreover, it is used in a spectroscopic technique also. So that means again, as it is not fit for plants and animals, but it does not mean that it is not being used anywhere. You can see that what important uses it is actually serving. Used in a in the nuclear reactor as moderator, in spectroscopy techniques it makes deuterium, and it is a tracer compound also in a detection technique. So this is all about the heavy water.